Raise your horns high and let your spirit flow. It's the classic metal wrap-up show. Feel the rush, let the loudness grow. It's the classic metal wrap-up show.
I was out for a drive and went to the Quaker Steak and Lube today, and
he did sing backing vocals on Sunset Superstar.
He took Dawn.
He could be like Mutt Lang. He could be the unofficial talking member.
Wait, don't say Mutt.
He smells like a mutt.
Yeah, he is. Like he's the secret ingredient that people don't realize has made all their favorite Dawkins releases so legendary. Has been the background vocals of this guy right here.
I enjoy pounding the puss.
That's what he enjoys doing, and he's going to do it safely. Just so you all know that. I mean, so
Always.
and no, he doesn't want children. He wants no commitments. So, but. Well, so we can go on here. Let's just bring back up. We were going to talk because she is our expert on. How do you feel about this, Kendle? Let's hear. Oh, I have it. So what's your take, Kendle? Have you been listening to it? What do you think?
So I've been listening to that was released a couple weeks ago, but I didn't get too much of a chance to listen to the whole release because it just came out yesterday and I was working all day, but I wasn't excited about the whole lineup change thing because Steve Unger was my bro for a while. Not really, but he was a good dude. But I will say, regardless of the, I was just referring to him earlier, as the serial stroker, Mr. David Ellefson. He brought, I think he brought, kind of a fresher sound to this album, which I respect. But the lineup change at first, I wasn't too thrilled about. What's the new singer's name? Like Brian Allen? From
yes, I believe so.
Never really, not same thing as the whole Typo Negative thing. Not that I dislike them or like them, just really off my radar. Never really into that band. So he's coming into this band and everyone's hyping up about how he could do David Wayne so well. But I was feeling more, especially with this track that you just played. I was hearing more Ronnie Monroe. And then people were saying, "Oh well, if you think he could do David Wayne, just wait till you hear him do Mike Howe," which I kind of have yet to hear from the album. I guess from how little I listened to it, the track I think that was even slightly more melodic, like Howe is maybe wasted time on this new album. So overall, I have to get a feel for it. Honestly, a lot of the later Metal Church albums with Mike Howe, like Damned If You Do and 11, they grew on me. Like I said, they were getting a little like common with those songs, but I think, like I said, it sounds a little fresher with I assume the only difference might be David Ellefson, because obviously we still got Kurt and Rick Van Zant with the guitars, so that's that's the same. So I would think he's influencing it. And I just, I've seen Metal Church a lot. They've always met the fans after the shows, so that's kind of why I just grew fond of the guys who were in it. So it's kind of, weird when everyone left and they came out with this group. And am I right in thinking like this Brian Allen guy, he was under fire recently before he entered Metal Church for things he was saying? I'm not really sure, but wasn't he kind of getting uh not attacked, but do you know of anything like that? Was it political or things that you
No
saying?
one's brought that to my attention,
Oh,
but I mean, that could be. I mean,
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not, I know our former host, Ruben, knows a lot more about him and his background with Vicious Rumors than I do.
Yeah.
I was just going off what he sounds like vocally, what the album sounds like, the videos, what I'm
Yeah.
hearing, it obviously sounded to me like the way the last lineup fell apart was not cool to some members.
Mhm.
And Kurt seems to make some other claims in a recent interview that I read just a couple days ago that they were all made aware that he's moving on and doing something else. And, you
Mhm.
know, since he is Metal Church, I think he can do whatever the fuck he wants. But I
Yeah.
think that was kind of the message I was getting from him.
I don't know if this
Um,
was like a statement from Kurt Vanderhoof, like, well, they have this song that I see is it surpassed the listens to on Spotify, that fuck around and find out.
yeah,
You know
you
how
have to
that's
have fun.
common.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like this whole thing is more of like a statement thing. Maybe he's all about like opportunities and free speech, but honestly, given the opportunity, I probably wouldn't really. Unless they were very close, I'd feel weird about going to see Metal Church these days. Although in the past, like I said, I had a very good time doing that.
How about you, Andrew? Where are you feeling about this?
Well, I am only a casual Metal Church fan, but I thought that the release was pretty solid. But I want to bring something up that I didn't notice yesterday when I was listening to it. So go back and play the. Let me set this up before you do that. I want you to replay the intro to that song. And I
Okay.
want to ask you before I do that, do you remember Metal Mania that used to be on VH1 Classic where they would show all the older metal videos?
It sounds familiar to me, but
It's
I
like
can't.
20 years ago.
Yeah, VH1 was already kind of. I'm an original MTV guy, so what
Gotcha.
time MTV? I don't know what the fuck V8 was on VH1
Okay.
very much.
So
Yeah.
play this.
Anyways,
Play that
yeah.
intro over again.
Okay. Make sure the volume's up. Here we go.
All right. Stop it. Tell me that doesn't sound like this. This is the intro to Metal Mania. Are you hearing that?
I hear it.
Yeah, it's very similar. Different chords, but similar chord structure and pattern.
Yeah.
Well, so my take is, and I like all kinds of metal church, but so my take is actually I think the album actually is pretty solid overall, but you have to in my mind, I feel like you have to be a little bit open-minded to the fact that this doesn't always sound like the metal church you knew. Later in the album, songs like No Memory, Wasted Time, My Wrath, even that final track, Blood and Water, the bonus track that was on my playlist here on the YouTube music. Brainwash Game, Fuck Around and Find Out. I like Feet to the Fire. I
Yeah.
like the show. Actually, I like the album. I just think you have to be willing to say this is not your daddy's metal church or the Mike Howell's metal church or the, you know what I'm saying? He at times sounds like Monroe. At times he does sound like David Wayne. At times he sounds like himself, like he's doing something kind of totally that I don't think any of them were doing. Um, a lot of range with this guy. Got to give him credit for that. I mean, this guy can go down to the lowest of the growls and go all the way to the highest screams, no problem, and he's just knocking it out of the park. I understand your concerned with the lineup thing, but I wasn't really tied to the old lineup, so I can't really say I'm tied to the new lineup. As far as old Serial Stroker goes, well, I mean, that is what it is. I mean, you're either okay with Ellison or you're not okay with Ellison. You know what I'm saying? You're okay with whatever was going on or not okay with whatever was going on. I kind of see both sides.
Well,
I guess I'm still undecided on that one because I don't really know, I don't know if that was a. Oh, we won't play it.
19-year-old girl.
So I don't know. I think I'm still my jury's still out on was this chick of age when he met her, or was she not of age, and how? It just seems all
You're only
because there's a
allowed to
lot
talk about this because Ruben's not here because he would stop you and say it was poor form otherwise.
poor form, and we want to say this is all alleged and innuendos and rumors. We don't know. I'm just reading comments. When I read the comments back
Oh,
then,
no, wait.
there was a lot of people
We
making.
don't know with the age. We do know that he definitely jerked his fucking cock in front of this girl on the fucking internet.
Yeah, that's what I'm basing that's all I'm basing my opinion on.
Yeah, and he was
So here's
definitely
what
doing
we can
that.
do. I don't know if it was illegal or not. It was still immoral because the motherfucker's married.
Yes. That's what I'm
Well,
getting at
that
too.
and he claims he's Christian.
Yes.
Yes, so he's a liar.
I remember in college reading his biography, and I know like I had this feeling, and maybe it was like influenced by my father as well. Like this dude, like he's the basis of Megadeth, and he's releasing a biography, and you open it and you see him all at his wedding and in his garbs of whatever religion he's thinking about. But yeah, so that was just my and then to do that and like the embarrassment of it. So that's just really just my opinion on it.
Then you have to wonder how long will he stick around? Is he going to go out and do live dates with Metal Church and make that a priority when he's got Elson DeSoto at the Whiskey I just saw? They're doing their first show in LA. He's got all the other shit he plays on, the Allegiances or whatever fucking, I don't know. Is he in Kings of Chaos or Metal? Well, he's in some of these things. I don't know. Fucking jam band things. Pick them up, jam around at fucking event bullshit. Either way, it's all. It's not what he should be doing. That's for damn sure. I mean, that's just in. And the bottom line is, Elfson, as you learned,
because the truth always prevails, mate.
truth always prevails. People are going to find out in the digital age. Bobby B is not lying about that.
Yeah,
so.
why would you? One, he did it. Two, why the fuck would you do it on a camera?
I'm also going to bring this up. In researching, I was not aware of this, and this isn't an issue, but maybe it could be an issue internally within the band at times, or maybe explain some of Kurt's own in and outness with the band is that he's gay. He really is. Yeah, he is. And so you could go Google. I'm not lying. Go Google it up. He's definitely come out.
I didn't know that.
So do you wonder sometimes, is that an issue for other band members? Or they don't care, or they do not know, and they get in the situation and they find out or something? Does it even matter? Does it even come up in conversation? I'm imagine if you're riding, I'm in a band, well, I ride around with my guys, so I know when trust me, they're all texting and setting things up and doing their shenanigans, whatever, or they got a wife, or they got whatever there's going on. So it just made me question, like, is that ever factored into why some of the lineups were like, you know what I'm saying? Or was it just life? Maybe he was, so anyways, I don't just wondered how does that play into a band dynamic? And then because he is Metal Church, and I think he is, and I agree with him in that regard, does that give him the right to just say, hey, Lopes and you guys are out, fuck you, and I'm going over here and doing this? I mean, it seems like he obviously does. So he owns the name. So anyways, good album though. I think y'all should check it out. At least give it a spin. Think what I'd probably say, what's it got, 10 tracks or 11 tracks? Yeah, 11. Well, kind of the bonus track is 11. But I would say at least 5 out of the 10 tracks are pretty bad. Maybe 6 are banging pretty hard, and I like them. So a couple of them, like I said, not quite. The mood is a different kind of a vibe that I haven't heard on Metal Church albums before, but that's okay. It is 2026, and maybe he's trying to move on and do something different. So, but I don't know. Do you think are we saying, because I would have to assume if Kurt's from Seattle and he's gay, wouldn't he pretty assuredly make him a Team Blue kind of guy? I'm just thinking, I don't know. It seems like everyone I've ever met in Seattle when I go play gigs there is definitely Team Blue. So if this guy's coming around, fuck around and find out and all these other things, is he more of a trumper? Is this playing a factor? Was this maybe not a non-issue? Who knows?
That was what I was getting at. But
yeah, that's what I'm
news to me about the whole gay thing.
Oh, you didn't know that?
No.
Yeah.
No, I've never even sensed that at all. But I mean, not that he's really out there with his personal stuff. I mostly just
I
knew
think
him
that's
from
why he
music.
isn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he is out there he has not denied it. He has admitted it in interviews. And I saw one interview where they were referencing that other than Rob Halford, the next most out gay person in metal would probably be Kurt of Metal Church. So I just don't think most people ever ask. So I don't really care. I'm from California in the Bay Area. I don't give a shit. But I'm just wondering if it plays a part of the band dynamic why some dudes have had issues or non-issues and stayed or not stayed, and a lot of revolving doors and a lot of people coming and going. And sometimes, remember, it was like the back. They told us back in the 80s and 90s his back was bad, and that's why he couldn't tour or something. Was that?
Oh,
I
no.
don't always. What's that?
I said, well, we know why now. But
Yeah.
what I was gonna say is why would you care? As you revealed to me last week, the Neelys have a gay cousin from the San Francisco area that might make an appearance at some point.
But I'm telling you right now, I think Neely's the type of guy who wouldn't have stayed in Steel Piston if me and Throbbing Dick were having sex.
Right. Well, I mean, he disowned your cousin,
Well, and mentioning Throbbing Dick,
Charles.
Really got my cock throbbing.
that would make Neely very uncomfortable, I think. Because he's obviously on the other team.
I enjoy pounding the puss.
Thank you, Neely. Appreciate you, brother. But either way, maybe he would be okay with the
So
whole
he
Steel
looks in the
Piston.
mirror every night before he goes to bed, and he tells himself that.
Of course he has to. I mean, that's like, he's got
Neely doing his nightly regimen is kind of like he starts thinking about Don, and he's like, well, Don was looking really sharp tonight. No, I enjoy pounding the puss.
well,
Thank God Jethro Tull didn't have a record out this year.
thank God, Jeff, because that would knock the Metal Church album off the charts. Jethro Tull.
Yeah. How tall was he?
Just like he would say double entendre. Thank you, Neely, for your pronunciation skills, your enunciation skills, as you like to say. Enunciate your words, I believe is what you said on the air one time. But when he sees Dawn, all in his mind is the only thing that happens is he sees Dawn across the room and it goes. Hello, Dawn.
Well, if you look at the cruise footage of him standing inside the stage, that look on his face really does kind of give that vibe.
He was definitely looking and a liking. He was,
You know what to do. You know what to do.
You know what to do there, Neely. Well, yeah. So, on that note, how many Dawkins shows are being booked for this year? We saw a couple, but didn't we see one, Andrew, that they were under?
There's a mall that they're going to be playing in.
Yeah, they were playing. They were under Warrant. I thought they would be above Warrant, but I guess Warrant is the bigger. You think Warrant's the bigger draw, has more hits?
Yeah, they're probably the more popular one as far as what people would know.
You'd have to look at Don and say,
Are you mad?
I mean, we have to.
Oh, he is.
Now a mall gig.
What the fuck is that?
I don't know.
I mean,
I was trying to figure out. In the mall, there's pictures online of the inside of the mall, and it's pretty dead. So,
well, I'm going to go on record as saying that my local Southern Oregon, there's only one mall in Southern Oregon, the Rogue Valley Mall in Medford, is largely empty. There's a food court and maybe like 6 anchor stores. But what they have done, and I'm wondering if this place, they have leased out space in there to a venue that I think during the weekdays teaches kids or allows kids to play instruments and stuff and have access to instruments and music. And then on certain nights and weekends, they have concerts in there, metal concerts, rock concerts, rap concerts, all kinds of concerts. I don't think they're free to the public type of things. I don't think it's, docking coming to the mall. But maybe these malls, maybe the malls are being repurposed as music venues these days.
Well,
maybe that's something.
I mean, Tiffany was the the originator of that.
I mean, because if, a lot of these musicians, if they don't have the gigs, then you're going to have to ask them.
So do you have like a job?
We're going to have to ask that question. What the heck they're up to? How they paying their bills if they're, Although, according to Neely, Don's getting what, 15K?
Yeah. 25.
20K?
25 he
25.
said in the one episode, which
Shut the fuck up!
I don't buy that. But either way. Anyway, so yeah, opening for Warrant. That was a good bill. They have Slaughter on the bill too, and somebody else. I think it was like a 4-band package or 3 or 4-band package
Lita
to come
Ford
off.
was the
So,
last
oh, there you go. Get some Lita in there, a little Lita action.
They're coming back to my area in October with Lynch Mob opening.
Oh, doing the.
I will go. I will have a sad feeling for part of the show, but I will go.
Why will you be sad?
It's well, you could. I mean, it's a
Because of
tough. It's a
Don
tough.
watching 'em.
Sometimes it's a tough listen. Sometimes
So you're being
There's
honest
always
with us
hope.
right now.
there's always hope of the activities before showtime, or maybe a little less crazy, and hopefully there's that would produce a better show. But
Yeah.
last couple times, I don't think that was the case. But there's no way they'll be there, and I won't be there, so I'll be there.
Yeah.
Well, if definitely going to be a scene if Neely is taking them to
I
the.
was out for a drive. I went to the Quaker Steak and Lube today, and
So they might get lubricated up at the Quaker Steak and Lube before the show, and then end up and Neely sometimes likes to run and get the booze for him. So
Which is a fucking enabler thing to do. To be honest with you, I think the reason that Neely makes up excuses for Don is probably because he's part of the reason why Don was struggling the night that he was there. Obviously, Neely's not at every show, but he doesn't help matters with the fucking activities that he encourages.
no, probably not. I mean, but he does walk in and
Rock and
say,
rollers everywhere.
Yeah, because he's this
and
old guy. Well, does he still do that? Because Taylor's not with him anymore.
yeah, you have to ask that question. He would definitely take care of Don by
You can have this old banana.
give him an old banana.
Well, no,
That's
Corey.
a healthy.
Corey himself says that to Don. He don't need one. Don't say that. He knows Corey.
Who?
Corey is Cocoa Box.
He is.
Cocoa Buns.
Just don't know the fucking-
We're gonna go. We don't. Jim and them have tried to dissect that audio to truly understand what Don's meaning was with Cocoa Buns, but I'm with Andrew. I think he was trying to say he's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I think that's where his mind was going. He's Cocoa Puffs, like he's crazy like Cocoa.
He had two things in his brain. He wanted to say Corey is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and at the same time, he wanted to say Corey's bananas. And it crossed in his brain, and it came out that way. That's my theory.
Corey is Cocoa Box.
So we just don't, but we do know that he's trying to figure out.
We were like 4 guys and a bit of 5. We were
Like if he was sitting in a room with Wild Mick and George, we said that they like look around like, who's the 5th guy? Who was the other guy in the band? Oh, maybe your lineup on the Ashes. Like there's a keyboard guy, right? Wasn't there a keyboard guy?
No, there's
That's
two
what
Two guitars.
Oh, 2 guitar players. Okay, my bad. But no, there wasn't. Okay, but there was like maybe not. Either way, the point is maybe at one point he thought he had 5 guys in the band. And he doesn't know if he has 4 guys in the band. He's lost as how many currently are in the band. He's taking a wild guess. Well, I don't know how much more. There's been actually a pretty quiet news week, I think, overall. I didn't find too many other news items on my radar. And, well, quite frankly, the CMS doesn't launch until, well, just a few minutes. Or, they're already counting down. Any minute you're going to have them coming on the air.
Shelly and Jackal are already in that chat room, of course.
You're going to hear Chris go,
Hey, fuckies!
But as Geoff Tate pointed out, if you're going to think about Mr. Aiken, you might want to realize something very, very important.
Of course not. Christopher is too busy dabbling in moonblood, as it were.
He's too busy dabbling in the mood blood. So, have you been listening at all, Kendle? You listening to the show anymore?
I played a couple. I don't know. I see the uploads on Spotify, and sometimes I'm unsure if they're recent or blast from the past. Last time I tuned in a couple days ago, it was a segment about the shenanigans at what's that? The place he used to work at as a teenager.
Bob Evans.
Bob Evans, where the managers were banging everyone. So whatever that was, that's the last time I tuned in. Maybe I've heard it.
A little bit of shock jock humor for you fellows.
Little shock jock humor for everyone.
Well, yeah, and then like, I don't know. I've never really tried to listen to live lately because it's just tough.
Oh, it is. It's hard. They don't talk about anything. And then every once in a while, you will get a nugget of wisdom of like Wendell telling you that as a kid, he almost died in Lake Superior because he was swimming and his sister wasn't watching him.
It's true. That's true.
Why weren't you watching them, Evil?
Well,
I was not alive at that time.
Born
Yeah,
yet.
it was pre. I'm the youngest of the clan, so
Yeah.
I'm the one trailing behind at all times. They were doing things long before I was ever born. Neely would just say, so yeah, I have no. I mean,
But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
we did, and so they're Neely clan. You know what they're all about. I mean, they're picking shucking corn and avoiding the shuck and jives in society, jockeying around, probably
Laying down-
swimming at the lake. I mean, how many? There's so many of us. Dayton had to be busy, distracted, fucking all the time, making kids rather than paying attention to whether Neely was safe when he was swimming in Lake Superior.
While he was out visiting his sister and banging your mom because Neely's mom gave him inferior stock.
Yeah, Neely won't say this because it's, our older brother and he's deceased, but that was Martin's job. Martin was the oldest. He should have been out there paying attention to what was going on with little Niels. So
He was too busy counting his coins and his stamps.
his stamp collection. He was working on his stamp collection. Another Neely pastime that rarely gets talked about is the family's stamp and coin collections they like to put together. But Neely doesn't want to make our older brother look like
extremely crooked slime ball.
So he tries to leave those kind of details.
Talk about the boulder collar. I mean, never mind.
Any shows you're going to be going to, Kendle? Upcoming shows you're going to be checking out?
Yeah, Night Ranger in May. Thinking about buying a VIP ticket for that just because it's at a casino, and Lord knows I'll be blowing hundreds of dollars anyway, so it doesn't seem like that much of a hit. And I'd like to meet those guys. They're pretty cool. And it was always tough back in the day to do it through radio promotions. I'd rather just pay for it. So Night Ranger, KK's Priest is hitting the same place Dokken will be in October. They'll be there in September, so I'll see them, and those are the top ones.
Is that just KK's Priest, or are they with Wasp?
I believe they're with Wasp too, but I'm not really. I'm psyched about KK's Priest. I'm below psyched about Wasp, based on the last time I saw them.
What was your?
Well, I'm not a huge Wasp fan, but I am a Wasp fan. Just the hits and but a lot of backing tracks. We talk about Don and John Bon Jovi. Well, I don't really know a lot about him, but assuming he sucks, but he's actually singing, it's not as crazy as just like I'd rather see an older guy who doesn't have it, as long as it's actually him and there are no backing tracks. But the Wasp was like overproduced, a lot of tracks, so it just doesn't feel right. And that was about 2 years ago. I saw that. I saw them. I saw Armored Saint open for them, and they're legit. 100.
Yeah, they're real good. They are.
So to see like Wasp after that it kind of made it even a little more sus, as the kids say.
I think you definitely find. I think KK's Priest is going to wipe the floor with them and sound live and real, especially with Ripper up there doing it live and real. I suspect Blackie's got some things being piped in still.
Got some Wizard of Oz going on.
I think the Neelys and the Eddie Trunks of the world are trying to paint it as, maybe Blackie needed some help and now he doesn't. He's cut the tracks out and he's doing it. I don't really
Well,
buy that.
as we heard last week, Neely needs some help.
He probably needs a lot of help.
Would you like to
He's not-
explain that?
should we dive into these topics?
Yes, we
Hamlin
should.
Kill Caller, you're on the air.
Are you talking about the prophylactics?
Oh, we're talking about the fact that his effect on his microphone went out and he sounded like fucking Big Bird. He
Oh,
got
yeah.
embarrassed about it.
Yeah, so they were having technical difficulties with the show. The first, if you can, I'm wondering, is Aiken gonna cut that out in the edit? If Neely's gonna say, can you fix that part? Or if they'll leave it up, maybe Aiken will have the nuts to leave it up. But the show was having technical problems right from the get go, and Neely had a high pitched whines kind of sound going on with his microphone or something, and they claimed they were going to fix it at the break or whatever. And then when they came back from the break, Neely had shut down the computer or whatever, restarted the system. And when he did, it went to his webcam microphone, which gives you like a more, it probably doesn't sound true audio, but more true audio than what his microphone sounds. And so when he came, I just had headphones on and I was doing yard work. And when he came back on the air, I thought it was Big Bird talking to me because his voice was so high pitched compared to how he has it set when he's on the air. He has like Howard Stern does, he has a bass effect added to his voice to make him sound more deep and low. And when he came on, hey, I mean, if you play Big Bird's audio, it sounded like Big Bird talking to you about the classic metal show. And Neely pointed it out. And then when Wendell went to fix it, and he came back, and then Aiken was like, "Yeah, I guess it was the wrong microphone. It was sounding weird there." And Neely's like, "Well, whatever. We'll move on. We'll get the show going here. I don't want to point out the fact that my voice is actually high pitched and nasally."
Damn,
I
I
saw-
always used to do the opposite on my soundboard. I'd turn up those highs. If I knew, I would have called in to even everything out.
Well, they're not taking calls anymore. That's the whole problem.
Yeah, they're afraid. And I think they're afraid because of Evil. Because I think you might, outside of somebody that has the backdoor number, you might be the last person that ever called the CMS hotline and got through.
Hamlin Kill Caller, you're on the air.
And that was
I think
well over a year ago.
I think the only way that there's a chance of a call being taken was if you called, Kendall. I think if you called Neely, he might answer the phone for you, but he's not answering for me, or quite frankly, apparently not answering for Bob Leather anymore either. So, which is surprising because I don't think Bob Leather did anything wrong per se. I mean, so.
No, he's a good man.
Yes, Bob Leather's a fine individual, but,
As we say in grade school, I called it.
as we say in grade school, I called it. I knew Neely was going to take offense when I started the show, and it apparently hasn't changed at all. No matter what we do.
Where he tried to play it off when he was talking to you, though.
Yes, he did. He sanctioned the show. I would never launch it if he didn't say I could do. He told me right there on the air that I could have a show called the Wrap Up Show.
Well, the neighbor did knock on his door back in the 80s and told him what he was there for, and he did let him come in and fuck his wife, too. So I think Neely can just be mowed over easy. I think that's all it comes down to.
When he really should have came out of the bedroom like,
You fucking right.
That's what the rest of us Neelys would have done. So, who's this guy in my living? What are you doing in my bedroom?
And before Neely, here I'll get vulnerable and tell a somewhat personal story. I'm not going to get into details, but Neely, before you go, well, you don't know until you're in this situation. Yes, I do, because when I was married at the same fucking age you were, that shit almost happened to me. And I went outside, and guess what? I ended up in cuffs going for a psychological evaluation because I completely lost my fucking shit. And then I was told once I got there and I explained the situation, why are you even here? And they let me go.
So
Because
it was a
just reacted to it.
It was a slobber knocker.
Yes.
Well, I never had it that way. I did. Well, we could share some filthy evil stories in my life because I'm 48 years old and a changed man. in my younger years when I was alcoholing and drugging and being a dipshit, I was banging some chick, and apparently her ex was in prison, which was she never told me that. And apparently one night when I was banging her, he was released from prison. And he came home, and I didn't know. I had zero clue. I thought some guy was breaking in, and all of a sudden it turned into like, so it just got out of hand, man. I thought he was an intruder. He thought this guy's fucking my old lady. So me and him started getting at it, and I threw him through a window out into the street from the house, and the cops showed up and pointed a shotgun at me, and I was naked because I was boning her when he came home. It was a mess. But he broke all the windows in my truck because he was mad because I threw him out the window because he was like a little guy, and I just went, whew, and he went right through the window. I mean, broke the hole out the window into the street. So the neighbors were all turning their lights on, calling the cops, because this guy's. But I had no clue. I was the other guy. I was not uninformed by the female, and she admitted that to the cops when the cops got there. So I didn't have any. They didn't do anything to me. They were just like,
you were the other guy, but you were also kind of unintentionally the other. You didn't realize you were the other guy.
I had been over there for 6 months banging away. I never saw a guy who's in prison, so I don't know. And she never bothered to mention that. Clearly, she information she omitted. Omission is lies, in my opinion. So she tried to say later that wasn't the case, but I told her I was moving on, and I felt like she was just.
She's number 2 or 3 prostitute in the country of Kazakhstan.
Pretty much is where I was. So, yeah. So life lesson learned, do more investigation on the females before you start heading over their house late at night when the kids are asleep. So, but that's what I had to learn that. I was a young man and she was in her 30s. I was in my early to mid 20s. She was obviously using me as a fuck boy. I didn't know it. So shit happens, right?
See, that would be lost on Wendell.
Oh God, man, I love my life.
I do love my life. I do love my life, Norge. Thank you.
See, like Neely would be like, an older woman. What is this?
The fact that he just goes to the couch. That's the weird. That's the. But that probably is what you're saying is when.
Let him in.
Yeah, like when I got on the phone with him, he just immediately backed down and just went into like some. I thought he was going to come at me full guns blazing. What are you fucking doing, stealing my show, asshole? And he didn't even say anything like that. So. I explained my position.
My theory is I think he was trying to play it cool, and the reason he went, well, Chris, you got anything to say? Is I think in his head he's like, I'll unleash the attack dog on him, and Chris was just kind of like, nope, kind of like, no, let's see you handle this.
Yeah,
that's my interpretation of it. I could be wrong, but that's the way that I see it.
Yeah, I think Aiken's pretty much just stood aside the whole time and not really cared, and doesn't really. I think his idea is if you feed it more, it's going to get more attention. Just fucking let them do whatever they're doing. And I tried to explain to Neely. I said right on the air, it wasn't like I wasn't transparent. I said I would like to be like Dave Chappelle of the CMS here and portray some characters and do some reenactments, and that's what I'm doing. And now maybe he's taking more offense to it because, he hears his own voice on this show and he can't control that. So
thank God Jethro Tull didn't have a record out this year.
So thank you. We're glad that Jethro Tull didn't make an album because that would have bumped Metallica off the charts or somebody metal, right? So I just looked at him and said, hey, you're my brother. And
rock and rollers everywhere.
That's what the CMS is supposed to be about. So that's where it stands. But what I can say is some of you in the CMS world like to send evil messages, and some of you talk tough on the CMS like your anti-wrap up show, but then in my DMs, you're like wanting to be my pal. That's kind of weird. So I won't call you out because it doesn't really matter in the scheme of things.
In the comment section too. Oh, I agree with you guys. And it's like, but then you go and you tell them.
But basically
giant pack of lies, all of them.
It really is, because I mean, it's not like, yes,
the truth always prevails, mate.
The truth always prevails.
Of course, the running gag of this show is the parody Neely specifically. Aiken, we kind of parodied a little bit, but that we'll just say that maybe the driving force of that isn't part of the show anymore.
Hey, fuckies!
Yeah. But in parodying Wendell, that's more so to just kind of like a thread to keep it attached. Because I mean, obviously, we do our own stuff that they don't do, and we do some stuff that they end up doing afterwards, conveniently.
And I told him, like, come on our show and make fun of me, or make fun of me on their show, or have us on their show and make fun of me there, or whatever they want. We could just
jockey around.
It doesn't.
We could just jockey around.
It doesn't have to be serious. We can have a good time with it, and I know that
Yeah.
they're big O&A fans. That's very apparent, as we'll get into at some point on this show. But you know how the guys used to just kind of sit there and bust each other's balls and laugh, and the only time anybody would get all butthurt and offended would be if they said something about Opie? Well, this is what I'm gonna say. Wendell, don't be fucking Opie. Nobody likes Greg.
Yeah. We're just busting balls, Wendell. And say, yeah, we're just busting balls. I bust everyone's balls. I bust my own balls if I can. No one's usually around to hear my own jokes about myself, so I usually just snicker in the corner alone. People think I'm crazy, but that's what happens.
I do that too.
It's okay. That's, it's all right. One of these days, me and Wendell will end up in the same studio, and it'll be... He'll know right then and there that this was a match made in heaven, that or he'll look at me and be like, we'll have to see.
It won't be that one. He doesn't challenge anybody.
That's true. His car got stolen.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if they're stealing his car, you'll be fine.
Steal his car, fuck his girl, steal his show.
If he had called his younger brother evil, I would have gone out in that parking lot and just kept going until the car was back to us, or they just drive down the street with a lot of going down the street. That's me. So
if they were Somalian immigrants that stole his car, they would say that they were here seeking sanctuary, and then all you would hear is that sound and you saying, "It's just been revoked."
If Somalis were in my area, I'd be...
You think I like sizing up my neighbor?
That's what I'd be doing. I don't trust these guys one iota. And I would then look at them and also tell them that I am...
Oh, go do this, king in the castle.
But they would probably tell me that I'm just...
You're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
I am bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, so... Well, ladies and gentlemen, I don't think there's any more rock and roll news to discuss. I think we're going to try to log off here and turn on the CMS, because that's going to be coming up here in about 30 minutes. Most of you that are going to be seeing this later tonight and tomorrow are CMS fans, and you can chime in with your commentary about where what tonight's topics will be. Who knows? Maybe Aiken will mysteriously disappear again or something, or maybe, wait, didn't Wendell have a show coming up where he was going to be doing the show and then going to a show, or vice versa? Maybe that's in the future. Anyways, we're going to find out what the CMS has for us. And, maybe if we get lucky one of these days, we'll be able to call into the show finally and talk to our main man.
Hamlin Killcaller, you're on the air.
It's me, Brother Evil. Will you speak to me, Wendell, please? So, go out and check out the Metal Church and see what you think. Leave some commentary. Let us know if you think it's a fucking pile of shit, or if you think it's pretty good. And our former host, Ruben, if you want to leave your commentary in the comments, since you don't want to come on the show and you're mad at me because I talked about Green Bomb, your friend. Oh, sorry. Allegedly. Supposedly. Rumors and innuendo, right?
Rumors and innuendo. Stevie Rochelle, fuck you. You're not welcome on.
That's what we hear from Metal Sledge. But we are a show that's independent of all of that. We're not gonna sit here and kiss ass. If there's a pervert in our midst, we're gonna call the pervert out. If we got a chomo, a rapey guy, Johnny Rapo,
pervert, you're gonna get side-eyed as well.
And for those of you that are questioning, in my particular case, my profession requires an actual background check, so you can't be a Johnny Rapo or a pervert. Yeah, so
exactly.
When you have certain responsibilities that might entail government entities at some point in time, they don't like Johnny Rapos and chomos
and with that said, that's
Jason Ghouls.
I would have given out but
Jason
people-
Ghouls.
yeah, people will be sweating bullets now that they at least have an inkling of that.
Well, they can all in the end.
Says the truth. Always prevails, mate.
Always prevails, mate. Every time. Bobby B was not lying to you guys. And there's no reason for any of you to stand by at this point in time when you all know that the shit stinks. If the shitter stinks, tell other people, don't use that shitter. It stinks. Like Andrew said, you wouldn't go swimming in shark infested waters. You tell other people, get out of the water. There's a shark in there. So, well, thank you, Kendle, for joining us. We appreciate your input on Metal Church and Geoff Tate. We're going to have you back probably in a month or less, or maybe a little over a month when the actual album drops. So we'll give you guys a week or two to digest the full Geoff Tate album, Operation Mankind 3. I'm looking forward to that, and we'll see if it if it measures up to some of his previous projects. He does. Well, hold on.
When the shit hits the fan.
See,
Yeah,
Geoff Tate can definitely sing, and he also is very observant.
You look at the hooters on that girl. Good sweet Christ.
Good sweet Christ. So, and that we'll extend that invitation. If the real Geoff with a G, whoever wants to come on the wrap up show, he's more than welcome here. Just like Bob Leathers, like Kendle, all the classic CMSers. We also are in talks, Andrew. What's that?
Tim James.
Yes, we are in talks. Me and Andrew have been in talks with Tim James about having him coming on to discuss some things. So until next time, we are going to do something that we always do here lately on the wrap-up show. And I know Kendall's going to appreciate this because she likes this gentleman as well. For Wild Mick Brown, taters. Everybody's going to put their taters. Taters United. All right, till next time, wrap-up show.
Raise your horns high.